There are certain names on the internet that act like a button. You press it, and everyone has a reaction. It is a big, loud, instant reaction. Mia Khalifa is one of those names. For millions, that name means one thing and one thing only. It's a story they think they know from start to finish. They saw the headlines. They saw the clips. They heard the jokes. Okay, case closed. I know who that is. But stories that simple are almost never the whole truth. The accepted story about Mia Khalifa is a myth, a caricature, drawn with thick, bold lines. That simple story is easy to share, easy to mock, easy to judge. This essay looks past that caricature to separate myth from reality and look at the person, not the persona. The first and biggest myth is that Mia Khalifa was a mastermind. People believe she carefully planned her brief career to maximize shock and fame. The story goes she knew exactly what she was doing, wanted the outrage, the headlines, especially the controversial hijab scene. This myth paints her as a shrewd operator who weaponized controversy for gain. It makes her seem powerful, in control, entirely responsible for the firestorm. It's a compelling narrative, but it crumbles under scrutiny. In reality, she was in her early 20s, feeling insecure, seeking validation. She has described the decision not as a grand plan, but a misguided choice under pressure. The narrative of calculation ignores the power dynamics of the industry she entered. Newcomers, especially young ones, often have very little control. They don't direct the scenes or choose the marketing angles. She has stated she was uncomfortable and felt she had no power to refuse. Another powerful myth is that she became incredibly wealthy from adult films. People see billions of views and a name everywhere, and assume a massive paycheck. The internet tells a story of cashing in and living in luxury. It frames a trade, reputation for comfort. But she's explained the reality is starkly different. Her total earnings from that work amounted to about, not millions, not hundreds of thousands, $12,000. Meanwhile, her content generated immense profit for studios and platforms. She was the face of the product, but not the beneficiary. This reality dismantles the myth of a smart business decision. For $12,000, she lost privacy, safety, and control of her name and image. That is not a good deal. It's a devastatingly bad one. The myth promised luxury. The reality was a life-altering decision for the price of a used car. A persistent myth claims she has no regrets. People point to her confidence, outspokenness, humor, her refusal to hide. They assume she embraces her past and feels no shame. But the reality is public, profound regret. She has called it the biggest mistake of her life. Her outspokenness is about reclaiming her story and warning others. She uses her platform to educate, especially young women. That is not unrepentance, it's turning pain into purpose. Before the name Mia Khalifa became a global search term, there was Sarah Jo Shamoun, born in Beirut, Lebanon in 1993, an immigrant story, fleeing conflict and seeking stability in 2001. Growing up between two cultures shaped her in profound ways: new languages, new rules, and the familiar outsider feeling. A culturally conservative upbringing contrasted sharply with her later public image. She earned a BA in history from UTEP, a regular person working regular jobs to make ends meet. This often ignored period matters. It shows a life, ambitions, and identity beyond the internet's caricature. What came next was a sharp, sudden detour, made in a specific, vulnerable moment. Ignoring this context ignores the human being at the center of the story. The part the world knows best lasted about 3 months, a handful of videos. In a human life, 3 months is a blink. For most, a seasonal job is a footnote. For her, those 3 months became a life sentence. A single hijab scene sparked international outrage. Extremist threats followed. Her name became a symbol of shame to some, defiance to others. In weeks, a private choice became a global incident. Even her family publicly condemned her actions. Backlash was explosive and all-consuming, and it didn't fade. Her name turned into a meme and a punchline. It affected her mental health and made regular work nearly impossible. The content is permanent, endlessly copied, without consent or compensation. She calls it a prison. 3 months of work, a lifetime of consequences. For years it seemed her story was written for her. She was the punchline. Then she picked up the pen. She refused to disappear, or be defined solely by her past. She leaned into sports, content, and community, showing personality, humor, intelligence. She built a new audience interested in who she is now. She leveraged the fame that trapped her to build on her own terms. She spoke about low pay, consent, and long-term harm, and pushed for content removal. Today she is complex. Businesswoman, creator, advocate, resilience over infamy. So what's the lesson? The myth was built on clicks, outrage, and a refusal to see the human being. We flattened a complex person into a cartoon because it was easier, more entertaining, required less empathy. Online punishment is permanent and disproportionate. Does the punishment fit the crime? You can't erase the past, but you don't have to be imprisoned by it. Look for the human, choose empathy.